rise for the pledge, please.
If the,
Moving things
well,
around.
they're
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the right.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In Indiana.
Let the record reflect all council members are present this evening.
And I switched.
Oh, absolutely.
This one here is the one that's.
With approval of prior minutes.
Thank you.
Public hearing at 6:45. Jennifer, there's no date on this one.
Uh-oh, which one? Yeah, I see it. I'll write it in on mine, Murray.
I think my computer is messed up, so I just could barely see these on my computer, so.
Make a motion to accept the public hearing minutes.
Which minutes were those?
The 6:45 public hearing, the Clyde Peter Oker one.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next we have another public hearing on September 12th for the budget appropriation. That resolution that was passed.
I make a motion to accept these minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have minutes from our September 12th council meeting.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
All in favor? And we will proceed with reports during the meeting.
All right, on water, Plant Street, 609,340 gallons of water since September 12th. Our average daily usage has been 43,524. Rivers were backwashed on September 13th, 16th, and 23rd. September back T-test is complete and was absent. We had one new water service connection on South Central. I'm gonna have to purchase a tablet to have a dedicated device to read water meters with. They've had an update and using it on our phones just doesn't work anymore. They've been trying to straighten it out for like 4 months, and now their solution is
Yes.
a dedicated device for it. They want me to do a factory reset on my phone, which is absolutely not happening.
John had a copy of it.
It's my first
It
time.
doesn't need to rely on.
Yeah,
I
that's
emailed it.
why I want to get a tablet and be there and read the meters on it every month. The wastewater bin performing daily checks at the lift station, the sewer plant. Lift station's pumped 1,088,602 gallons since September 12th. And our daily average has been 77,757. Collecting sewer samples weekly. Sewer plant is closed, so we're not discharging. McAllister's had serviced the jetback truck and repaired a leaking line, and they will be picking up the truck tomorrow to change the signs, which that'll be the end of the jet heads are ordered as soon as they come in. That's it, but as far as the truck goes, we'll get the truck back Wednesday.
Then it's just titling.
That's getting the title and that's it, yeah. So, that'll be over with. The town has been approved by Okra for the additional grant funds, which will allow us to complete the last 660-foot run of sewer replacement with Watson Excavating. Miller Pipeline will have all the lining complete in about 2 weeks or less.
Wondering if you had it seen
And
a
then
chance.
ART will be coming to line manholes manholes. That being said, we got a video to review today. So the sewer line by the hardware in the north-south alley that we added a new manhole to was never televised. And when the cleaning crew came to televise it for lining, we got an issue. We did discover that it was a 6 when we put the new manhole on the end of that, on the south end. But the problem is about 8 feet in, we've got a bad tap, and the pipe is broken. The whole bottom is broken out of the pipe. I mean, and it's beyond a point repair because of an offset in it, which means it has to be dug up. But in the video, we did find the other thing. Those downspouts, which we made them plug them, the downspouts were connected to the sanitary sewer, and we found out because there is a 4-inch tap on that line that's not on our tap map. So, Bill is on vacation. They will be back next week to start this last run. He's gonna give me a price to replace that. Because even to line it, we've gotta dig it up, and it's only 76 feet. So if we're digging, we might as well be replacing. And we've got, which I missed 3 segments on the pipe lining. But Mike Lampeter's putting a spreadsheet together, and we're still gonna have about $150,000 left. So we'll have plenty of money to do both. I'm gonna get the footage on the other segments tomorrow to know exactly how much that is. And then we'll see what Bill's number is. I'm throwing a shot in the dark here, and I'm guessing it's probably gonna be 35 to 40,000. Because we've got a gas main that's gotta be moved. And so we're gonna have to make a decision fairly quickly so I can get the gas company, because the gas company put a 2-inch main on top of the sewer. So it's gonna have to be moved. There's room for them to move it, but we gotta get it over and out of the way.
Do you know whether there'll be any expense to the town to have another utility move their services, their mains out of our?
It's ours, and we were there first. I mean, I've made everybody else move their stuff through this project, so they're not gonna be any different.
Okay.
I mean, if they tell me there is, I'm gonna say something, but
Okay,
they put it on top of us.
I was just wondering. We
I already
ran
said-
into that
I already-
down in Arcadia
I
with the
already-
county.
I said something to them already when they were back there doing work on it, and told them about it then, so.
Is it a new main, a new gas main you put in, or is it one that's been
No, it's
existing for a while?
plastic.
It's plastic, so it's
Yeah.
fairly new.
Yeah, I mean, it's 20 years old. I mean, it's yellow, it's not the pink stuff, so it had to
Probably-
be,
probably
when they did that
updated.
work in like 98, 99, somewhere in there. It's probably when they put it in, but I mean, I don't know how they got around it, because they had to go around the manhole, you know? I mean, they ran like on an angle from the alley behind the hardware and came up the alley, but it's right on top of us. I mean, right on top of it. It's a 2-inch line, but it dead ends. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal for them.
Just got a couple customers on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's got one. Well, there's one. One's not being used, so there's 3 in use. There's 4 customers, but one's not in use. So it's 4. But he's gonna get a price on that. Miller's getting close. They don't have, they've done a lot of segments already. They were here today.
Okay.
Don't have the lift station, but we gotta do a bypass. When they do that, we got that line cleaned today and inspected, so. This next week I'll get a price from Bill, let you guys know, but even to line it, we're gonna have to dig it up.
The point repairs and that, well.
And the tap and everything, yeah, I mean, the way that is all together there, I mean, even if you only did the point repair, you're gonna be digging up about 10 or 12 feet of it and redoing all those taps, you know? And with what's already on there, I mean, you're getting down to only having about 40 to 45 feet of pipe left to replace.
Doing a repair in the broken section, like I say, he's got a section of 4-inch in there repaired somewhere too already, so
Yeah, it'd
it'd be better just to replace the 70 feet and have it all new, get rid of all the old stuff out of there, especially no longer in the run it is.
but, when I talked with ART, we'll probably be done about the first week of November. The whole project will be done. I mean, the only thing that'll be left to be on Bill would be, 11-month punch list, so next spring, anything that's settled or done anything, but the rest of it, will be done here before winter.
Well, I'm back to that section of pipe that Andy needing to get a price from Bill. I'd like to go ahead and approve it as long as we have money in the funds so that they can move forward and he can coordinate that gas line removal and everything, and hopefully they can get it done while Bill's still in town and he won't have to leave and come back waiting on the gas company to move the service. So any repairs that we need, additional problems that Andy and them are running into at this point in the game, I'd like to make a motion to approve Andy to go ahead and approve the work as long as the funds are there in the budget.
Well, we've got a motion to see in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I will let you know what I find out. Under streets, most of the festival cleanup's complete. We're gonna be finishing what's left of it tomorrow. And then I'm also getting a quote from Mid-State to frame mount the salt spreader on the street sweeper before the old dump truck dies, because it's about there.
I thought it was all but dead, just wasn't buried yet.
Well, I mean, what's gonna happen is I know what's gonna happen. We're gonna bust off one of the spring perches off the frame, and then we're gonna be screwed. I mean, and plus the hydraulic tank on it, I fixed that thing. Did a temporary fix to it like 4 years ago. So, I mean, it's gonna need a new hydraulic tank on it at some point, and I don't think it's gonna be, I'm gonna wait, I'll get the quote so you guys can see it, but I think it's gonna be fairly economical. They started frame mounting them, that way we don't have to put a bed on it, it's easier to clean, and you just save that cost of the bed. So they said, well, they're big salt spreaders now, they're just frame mounting the spreaders on them. Under building, I've had 3 inspections, 1 building permit issued, 3 zoning inquiries, 2 building permit inquiries, and the September census report is complete. That's all I got, Shane. Oh, I have one more thing I almost forgot. So, the asset management plan for fleece, for paving in the additional streets. The question was up about where the arbitration is. He says you guys can cross it out, put Hamilton County on it, we send it to them, they'll initial it, send it back to us. So, but I need it tonight. So, I gotta get it to them tomorrow, we're running out of time here.
I think you can probably find it. I don't have it with me, but I can probably go find it after the meeting.
I've got it right here, Murray.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer can just, he said if you'll just scan it and send it to him tomorrow, they'll get it done on their end and send it back.
So that changed to have it in Indiana instead of
Yeah, he said put
Michigan.
Hamilton
So
County, he said put Hamilton County, Indiana on it. He said he has mentioned it to them before about getting it changed to either Marion County, Hamilton County, wherever they're doing work.
at our last meeting, we did approve the contract pending that change, so. Perfect.
Can I bring one more thing up, and this will be from now on, if we can, on any of your contracts, we need to watch out for the indemnity clauses. And in this case, it's not gonna be a big deal, I don't think, but you gotta be careful, because if you agree to indemnify, say Fleece is driving around checking the roads, I think Amy's probably gonna be driving around or something, checking out these roads. But if he were to have an accident in their vehicle while he's checking out your roads under your contract, you have to indemnify him. The Fleece is right in the brink. So they have an accident, they run over a bus of doctors, and everybody's dead. You're gonna be, the town of Atlanta will be paying for that damage.
Sure.
That's per the agreement.
Well, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Sounds like a reasonable fee. Well, while he's locating that area on there.
Do we need to make a motion on Andy purchasing the tablet? That he'll need?
We can, I think it's gonna be below the dollar amount, but to give them
It would be $5 grand.
Huh?
It's under $5 grand.
5 grand, but we can, let's go ahead.
Well, I make a motion to let him purchase the tablet since he needs it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now I don't have to ride with him to read meters now.
Well, I'm a little disappointed in that program because that was supposed to be bulletproof and it was supposed to work with all the
Well-
previous equipment they had, and if they ever upgraded, all the old stuff's still working. We've already had
Well,
to
but
upgrade the handheld already for several
Well,
thousand
they
dollars.
changed it so we didn't get a handheld. See, what they were gonna do was, they were gonna have their own device, like the old handheld, but a little different. And they decided, and then whoever their IT department is talked them into doing an app, so that it goes on anybody's phone. Well, they've made a couple updates over the last 4 months. I mean, it's not just us, it has screwed up
Yes.
on phones all over the nation, and they cannot get it corrected.
There's only a couple of devices that somebody works on.
But not, it's
I
not
just
even
didn't know
all, like
that.
Jennifer's
Won't
an
work on my
Apple,
flip
works on
phone.
hers, but not on all apples.
Right.
And that's why I was asking, so it was funny, because I said, they said, well, they recommend you get a Samsung tablet. And I said, yeah, I have a Samsung phone.
So why isn't it working?
Yeah, I
on
said,
your
you sure
phone?
it's gonna work on there and not have a problem, you know? But it's gotta be, the problem with reading the meters is, you can't even do it, you can't, it has to be, which makes no sense to me, you gotta be Android based. Which I said, why does it work on an Apple phone? They said it's a different program. So I don't understand that, but, it doesn't have to have an air card, but it's gotta be Bluetooth capable for the MRX unit. So you'd load all the routes from the shop, Bluetooth it, read it, bring it back to the shop and upload all the information.
It's more or less taking the place of the handheld.
Take place of the handheld
With
or
the
a
app.
phone. Yeah, but doing it app based.
Now, can you scan a meter or audit a meter and get a diagram on it and go back like the 90-day?
Well, you
On
can,
something.
but that, yeah,
Show
there
you
you have to use
graph
the
and-
belt clip receiver, so you'd have to take the belt clip receiver and the tablet
Yep.
and Bluetooth the tablet to the receiver, which that would be a little bit nicer, I mean, I have to admit, on a tablet, because I have shown people on my phone,
You can see
Yeah.
the graph right
but
there.
you can make the graph, of course, a lot
It's a
bigger.
larger.
We had the handheld and the
Tablet.
tablet, and we could do that. Go right
Yeah.
out there, and the customer's standing there, and you can show them.
Yeah.
It's a big help when you're trying to explain it to them. If you got that where you can sit there and show them in a big enough screen, they see
Yeah.
it. You can show them the dates and the increase and decrease in the middle of the nights and everything else. And it's easier to convince somebody that they do have a problem if they can see it like that for themselves.
Alright, anything else for Andy? Jennifer, do you have anything tonight?
The only thing, I would like to thank everybody that helped with festival. A lot of work, but thank you, everybody. I think things went real well, so when we have our next festival meeting, we'll have report and have everything put together for that. The only other thing I have is I put Fleece and Vanderbrink invoices in your packet. So I just wanted you guys to take a look at them before I write the check, make sure you're okay with all of that.
They don't have an invoice in here for June? Am I overlooking it?
Yeah, it's on the last page. Mine's on the last page.
June. May 1st to
No, there isn't in
2028.
here. No.
This is all that I have received. This is it,
August,
this is all I've received.
September 12th.
July 31st to August 27th, April to April 1st. I don't have any June month on here, did they not? You know if they did anything in June possibly that they don't have the invoice for?
What's the total?
June.
It's May.
What's the grand?
This is from the time period
Okay.
that they worked.
342.
That'll be it. I mean, I can ask them tomorrow.
These are all individual invoices. It comes
Yeah.
up to like 47,000.
Yeah, it is.
Out of-
No, I've got a June, did I,
I don't have, for that time worked.
Yep, June 8th.
That, you know, from the
Right,
month
but that's the
underneath,
time May.
for professional services
Month
rendered
May.
from point A to point B. There's no
oh,
covering
gotcha,
June.
yeah. Okay, I see
So
what you're
if
looking at,
Yeah,
yeah.
if
This,
they-
yeah, this is all that I have received though.
Well, I would take it that if they got one dated for, with the June 8th time on it, they didn't do any work on there that they're billing us for during that period, because they're beyond the June there. And this is all due to the PER for the armory that,
We need to tell them we want a copy of the PER.
yeah, we definitely want the information and
have it here.
things, and
If anything changes, anything happens, we just wanna have one on file here, you know, with our
yeah,
own.
we need that information for future use and records and things. I know a lot of places don't wanna use someone else's information on a project, but we can use it. Pretty valuable information for us to have on hand. It ain't looking favorable, but I think we rolled the dice on that one and lost.
I'm still gonna send the colonel an email and say, hey, offer still stands, but
Yeah, I mean, I say we keep it on the table until
They're not
they start building.
they're not
or they
gonna have
move.
service by the time they're done.
No, I say we keep our hopes up until they start, sign a contract with someone else and start to work. Hopefully they come in at the last minute and realize that we can fulfill their obligation, our obligation to them to get services out there. But
All right, well, we wanna go through these and I've got, invoice dated June 8th for a period May 1st through May 28th, the amount of $5,657.60. I think that's the first one chronologically.
Actually, there's
Well,
May
there's a
10.
May 10 in there, Marty. Invoice May 10.
That's a big one.
April 3rd, there we go. Okay. May 10th invoice. $33,342.40.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, June 8th invoice, $56.57.60.
Make a motion to approve that one also.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dated August 23rd, in the amount of $4,000 from July 3rd to July 30th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Finally, September 22nd, $48.40. $4,840.
Make a motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Hopefully something still comes of that.
Jennifer, did you have anything else?
The only other thing was the triad invoice. Had you talked to them about the itemized?
I'll just call them tomorrow. We probably need to have a conversation anyway. But per our discussion last time, the more I think about it, if we were to pay that, we'd only have $1,000 or $2,000 left in their total construction engineering, which they still have to do as-bills.
So what's their,
I would prefer they have a bigger amount outstanding than.
so,
Yeah. Say we set on it and don't pay it until we get closer to the project, or we get finished with the project and then
That's
they
what-
get our as-built and
I think we ought to
our
wait till completion.
services are
Yeah.
completely fulfilled.
May I ask, what's the status of the contract? Does it provide for payment upon request, or is there a final payment required?
I cannot remember. Let me see if I can find it.
it's based on percentage of work completed. But the problem is,
They are not.
they're ahead of the ball. I mean, they're like, they've been paid almost everything.
They're claiming for services is not finished, filled in yet, because
Okay.
as-built plans will be after the project's completely over, and they take all the notes and make us as-built plans, and that's part of their contract.
Okay, I recommend that you stick to your contract and only pay as to the work completed.
And it's kind of actually difficult to ascertain what's completed as a percentage based on the dollar amount, because they haven't actually done,
certain things.
they haven't been nearly as involved in this project as they have in previous, and have pushed work off on other people that we're working with. So
Okay.
I feel like we paid a lot for a little at this point.
And a lot of the stuff that they have done in the past on previous grants and different things for us, they have failed and refused to do it and say it ain't part of their contract, so we have to pay additional money to Klein Peter to fulfill the project and to get to the claims and pay claims and everything
You know what's
done
funny?
on stuff, and they,
Except on the back.
Except on the back truck.
I know, that's what I'm saying. After, they were doing all that stuff they have in the past, but right in the middle of it, they wouldn't process pay claims or any of that, and said that they didn't do that and it wasn't part of theirs. So in order to get the people paid that had already completed a lot of work and had money sunk in this project, we had Klein Peter to take care of it, and he's coordinating everything with Jennifer and making sure everything's taken care of according to SRF and Okra.
All they've done since construction started has been change orders, basically. So,
For sour grapes, because we went with a different engineering firm and had, this is pretty much their last project, as far as my opinion of, using them for future projects.
I say stick with your contract, if you have the contractual right, then withhold it.
I mean, we could split hairs over percentages is the thing, but I think we're gonna stay pretty strong with our.
They have a duty to show you that they've completed the work that they're asking for.
And part of the problem is, not to sound petty, but it took them basically a month to do 3 change orders, even though we told them we needed them right away, and had a meeting with them, told them we needed them, and they just kept going and going and going.
Which then delays everything else.
Yeah,
So,
delayed
yeah,
everything.
what service we are getting is not being particularly attentive to our needs.
No communication, no return phone calls, you can't get anything from them that you need. It took forever, Andy, for a month and a half or better to get the change orders that we needed to send into Okra and stuff to keep the ball rolling with the project.
I didn't even get completed plans until like a month ago. We're like 90% done with construction before I get plans.
There's several issues with it.
Not been good.
Several issues with them, so I'm in no hurry to pay them myself personally, and unfortunately, we don't owe them all that much.
I mean, my biggest concern is that we end up with a deal where they decide to walk away from their last couple $1,000s, because that's a substantial amount of work to complete those.
At this point, I don't care.
I want a bigger dollar amount if possible.
I don't know how that would be with Okra, with finishing the project, how they would, that's the only thing, I don't think they'd wanna do that, just because it'd give them a bad rep with the
Yeah.
Okra and SRF and things like that, if there was any water muddied here and it got back to them, as far as them doing projects and stuff. So I don't think that'll ever happen, but we ain't gonna get any more cooperation than we're already receiving and seeing right now, so.
Okay. John, do you have anything?
You gave us some tasks last time, we were unable to get that. I do wanna take a moment, cause you guys got Alex last time, you're gonna get me this time. The comment I made at the meeting prior to that was not an attempt to undo anything with everybody. My objective is to utilize your funds as best as I could, and the communication to everybody is understood. I expect you to be able to communicate with me directly. But please understand that what I was saying is you need to confer together and then get that information together before I have 5 or 6 different versions. But if you want 5 or 6 different versions of a product, I'll be glad to draft it, and I'll bring them all in, let you discuss how you want to do it. That is fine. I'm just trying to be pragmatic in moving forward. And if anybody feels as if I'm being off-putting, tell me. I'm a big boy. I can understand it. If you feel like I'm bullying you or pushing you to do something, I'm your attorney. I'm not your dad. You tell me. I respectfully disagree with your assessment, and we're going to move on to a different direction. You have that pejorative as a board, and as a council. You let me know what you want. So I wanted to make that clear. Sometimes after being at the office a full day, going home and seeing the kids and coming in here, I may be a little short. If I was, I do apologize for that, but otherwise, I enjoy the openness that you have. Feel free to call the office as often as you need, or whatever you need, any one of you. And if you say Andy can call, Andy can call. I mean, I don't care. I just don't want to duplicate an effort just to satisfy a request from 5 people for me to show up and then they say, well, you did it, you charged us to do it 5 times.
Yeah.
Because that right there would be, I would feel like I was wasting your money. And so I want, but if I came across wrong at that meeting, my sincere apology. I am very blunt and straightforward, and feel free to be the same to me.
Oh, trust me, and like I say, I'm the one that was upset about it, and I told Alex at the board meeting, it was basically, I was the one that was mainly upset, and
Right.
and the reason being is, right before you told us not to, be calling or go through Murray or Jennifer.
Right.
You just asked to have approval to talk to the BZA members because you actually represent the council.
Right.
And you told us that, and he's like, well, I need the additional approval in case, because they'll be on your dime to
Right.
talk to them. And
Right.
we approved that. And then the next conversation was, well, we talked about the alley up there, and I said, if anybody has any additional comments or anything needs for you, I told him to contact you, and he said, well, don't do that.
Yeah,
Have
and-
Murray or go through Jennifer. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're asking approval to talk to other people, but we are the ones you represent. And then you said that
Right.
in there, and I tell you, that's how I took it. It's like, we don't want to talk to you guys. We'll talk to Jennifer and Murray, and that's it. And that's the only people that, And I thought, no, we're not. And I didn't say anything at night because I was very upset, and I didn't want to blow my stack in here because of that. And it's like, I want to bring it up
I
and
understand.
try to, do it in a professional manner instead of being upset.
Grab me when it's there, because letting it fester wouldn't help anybody. And again, that is
Yeah.
not my intention, and that's not the way it should ever be taken.
And that's the way I look, we represent, you represent us, we hired you to represent all 5 of us.
Right.
And, and as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know how the other council members feel about it, but anybody that is an employee or volunteer as one of the boards, Plan Commission, BZA, or Jennifer, has, legal questions that they need answered, I'm all in favor of approving that, you can talk to any of them on our dime. Because,
Okay.
it's all town related, and they're basically a branch or a department of us.
The only, and let me just make sure that we're all understanding. If multiple individuals, let's say, I don't know what your biggest board was that you're not involved with, if each individual were to call and ask me to do things on that, and they could be contradictory.
I'm just saying, asking questions,
Okay.
like BZA, if Kevin needs a question that, I want him to, he's gonna make a legal decision here that basically reflects us.
Right.
They, we're not involved with the BZA whatsoever. They're the board of their own.
Right.
But they are a town board
Right.
branch, basically. So if they have legal questions, we need to have where they, and more than likely, the way they got set up, Kevin would be the one, instead of
Right.
having individual members on that board talking, because he's the one that's heading the meetings and he knows what legal questions or whatever, he needs to make sure that he's covering his bases and doing everything legally and right.
Okay. So I
that's
just want,
that's why, I want to get at that. And like I said, these guys, if they got a legal question, I don't expect anybody to call you up and after a meeting and say, I don't agree with what he said and I want you to do this, you do that. But if they got a question, about what we talked in the meeting, and they've got a legal question,
Right.
why don't you just answer a legal question?
Yeah.
Because if there's anything that needs to be changed from what we discussed at this board meeting, as far as having you draft something, that needs to be brought up again at the next board meeting to where everybody's,
Right.
aware of it and,
right, and
and
that,
not be changing stuff in between to where one don't know what the other's doing.
exactly.
We need to do this and do it at a public meeting where we're all present if we need changes or something that came up differently.
Exactly, and that's what I was trying to say, so if it came across differently, I do apologize.
I appreciate that, and like I said, I just wanted to, bring it up so that we got it clear to where all of us were on the same page and
Yep.
everything, and, we knew basically where we stood and what
I
you
understand.
guys expected and what we expected.
Yep.
And I'm perfectly fine and clear with that. And
Okay. All right, the other items, we have not been able to complete the letters and stuff. We've had so many things going on, so many irons in the fire.
I did see that Greg sent the bond over, so thanks for looking into that. He's said you guys are trying to get appraisals.
Yep.
for the library.
We haven't finished, I don't have anything finished. I'm working on items, so hopefully by next meeting we'll have some of those tasks that were signed at the last meeting, completed.
Perfect.
So, that, I've reviewed his document for a brief amount of time. I'm gonna have some questions during, or after his presentation this
Okay.
evening.
Yeah, I just wanted you to review that. I didn't know if we needed to sign that or look at. That's the reason I wanted you to have it.
Right?
Jennifer emailed it out to people and so I just wanted to make sure you guys, you know, any contracts or anything, agreements like that, I want you guys' eyes on it and, you know.
Okay, so, one last thing, Jennifer received a check today, and I told a few of you earlier, the check is for the damages to Ball Diamond. And, the thing is, we've been in communication with the prosecutor, trying to figure it out, and with the family members, trying to understand what the status of things were. No one was sharing information. There apparently was a juvenile delinquency case opened. That juvenile delinquency case paid out $653 or so to the town. We don't know what that amount is for. We don't know if there's any more to be paid out from that. We're going to put an appearance in that case and request a copy of any type of agreement that was entered into as far as any type of plea. And then if that doesn't satisfy for the total amount owed for the damage, we can then use that as a res judicata as to the civil suit. So, meaning that all we gotta do is say, start the suit, and then use that to say that they admitted to guilt in this case, and then we can get damages on the other side.
So
So
we
we're-
did turn this into insurance, so I guess all we would need now, basically, as far as restitution, if they are going to provide some or been ordered to provide some, would be the deductible, right? I mean,
Well,
how does that work? Can you get double paid?
Where-
See,
where
that's
do we
what
state?
concerned me, because,
Haven't we already been paid by the insurance company
Yeah,
for the
and-
claim?
$1,400 or something like that.
Not our deductible,
But we did have a deductible on that.
yeah,
$1,000.
$1,000,
Just the one deductible for both.
yeah.
So they considered that
Besides-
one incident?
Yeah, it was just one deductible, 1,000.
So basically, restitution to us would be $1,000 if that was, then we would be satisfied and there'd be anything going back to the insurance company.
anything over that would be payable to the insurance company.
The insurance company would, so do we know, is there gonna be any conflict with the insurance company trying to go after them and collect their money back that they've already paid us? And, you know, here they're trying to send us money. And I know they said it's been a nightmare trying to deal with the prosecutor's office and get any
Communication would
information.
help everybody involved, and, you know.
The juvenile delinquency case is completely confidential. So we have to file,
But you would think that the prosecutor, in the best interest of the person that they're,
you would think.
you know.
So between the prosecutor and the defendant's counsel, neither one of them were willing to say anything. So the only way we're gonna get to do it is put in our appearance in that case. Now that we actually know what cause number it is, we can do that, because we represent the victim.
Perfect.
So we can tell you more, but
Go ahead and cash it,
go ahead and cash it, it's your money.
okay.
Thank you.
so I got one thing, he says letter, which I forgot.
Letters.
No, this is a new one. 125, East Meridian. You gotta get a letter out, get that fence out of there. We can't even get equipment in to dig that sewer up.
Okay. Is that something that you think you can whip up in the next day or two if he gets you?
Give me the address and the,
For information.
Yep.
Yeah.
Snap a picture, wheel it off, or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I will, I can. I can email you the pictures, I can do it tomorrow.
I'll be in the office all day tomorrow. I got a 10 o'clock meeting, other than that, I'm at your school.
That'd be perfect.
Don't send it to Alex, I'm not in the office.
Did you get the PDF of the map for that?
Alex did, and he forwarded it
I
to me.
sent it to him, once here at the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got this thing. Okay, any old business from the council tonight?
What's the deal with the code enforcement?
He started it, just helping with festival. He did festival permits this year. I'm sure, it doesn't sound like he found too many that needed permits, so I don't know if, fewer vendors, which for sure there was fewer vendors in combination with people actually heeding the advice of the town to get their own permit ahead of time. He could have missed some since it was his
Yeah, there was
first time
only
doing it.
one.
He found
Only
one.
That's all that was in the money bag was one.
Okay.
So,
Anyway, he seems like he's very anxious and eager to do the job, and I'm gonna work with him on Wednesday a little bit to see if it seems like it's gonna work out fully. But I can't imagine there was only one place.
I know.
That didn't have a permit. I thought he got more than that.
You check mine?
But yes, he was going around checking. So maybe more people voluntarily complied than usual. I mean, I usually have, I don't know, 30 probably.
I'll compare.
But there were
I'll
definitely
compare.
fewer vendors this year too. And we did send out those notifications to people saying that they needed them too, so. We'll know better probably, have a better idea after we finish tabulating all the numbers. But anyway, he does seem very eager to do it, and so I'm gonna meet with him again on Wednesday and see if we can get rolling.
Well, I've got about 5 residents that are in very, very, very poor condition. And to the point where that someone needs to be taken care of real soon.
Yeah, we got,
I mean, so I just wanted to, I didn't know when I'd get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to get to that, those issues just as quick as we can. So,
my goal is for him to be in a position to operate after Wednesday. I'm gonna see if we can actually I can walk him through on a couple of obvious
Do the same
issues.
thing.
Do a notification, so then he's ready to go.
It makes me think of another one, something for you guys to think about that I left out of my report. Would you consider passing an ordinance that says unimproved alleys are not a public thoroughfare?
amen.
You know, we just dug an alley up, did total restoration on it, and had somebody think it's, the off-road jamboree. So now we got giant ruts broken through brand new dirt and grass. You know? I mean,
Yeah, I agree, gotta have it. Kevin's got one behind his house, I've got one behind my house.
well, there's several.
We mow them,
Yeah, your brother-in-law me.
Yep, we mow that.
Stoops, I had a little talk with him, he pulls the trigger with his job, and instead of pulling out of his house and going up to, Central and go where he wants to go, he wants to come down that alley. And, I've been mowing that for 49 years, I put grass seed in there, I don't wanna owe the thing, don't want nothing from the town, I'm just simply saying, I maintain it so Andy and him don't have to, and I can't get that guy to stop it, I can't. I'm about to the point where I'm putting nails and boards and sticking out there.
As your counsel, I advise against that.
We'll have to pass an ordinance on it, that's why I asked.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, okay, I got
We don't have a mechanism really, but.
We have to put a sign up or something like that so they didn't know.
Well, that was a goal too.
Utility vehicles only.
It's not a public thoroughfare. I mean, it's unapproved alley's not a public thoroughfare. I mean, that's just the bottom line. There's several around town, and people want to be cute and drive through them and tear them up because they say it's an alley. You know. And here we had a contractor do all this restoration work, and it's got giant mud ruts through it. And I know him. He's going to fix it in the spring.
Yeah.
You know, and then what? They're gonna be smart again and tear it up after he fixes it again.
Alright. Well, maybe that's something else we can work on as well.
Do you need a motion to
Yeah,
get that
that'd be good.
done?
I'm just putting the suggestion out there. I mean, you'll have to draft draft an ordinance and
Could you look at that, John, the section of our ordinances and see an
put
amendment
it out
to
there
that?
to you.
Language on there?
But I just made a note.
Well, I can get you a list of the defined areas.
Okay.
So you'll need those too, won't you?
Yeah.
Is that a better way to do it than just saying unimproved alley,
Well, do you have a finite number?
Yes.
Well, yeah, we just have to go through and count them up, but yeah. I mean,
Well,
some are larger than others, but
Yeah.
So just identify
So, I mean, is that easy, is that better to identify them and have a schedule about non-passable alleys
Right.
versus say?
Well, and streets, I mean, I wanna do
Yeah.
both.
I'd want
Yeah, an improved
We have unimproved
right
streets
of
as well,
ways
yeah.
or not, yeah, okay,
Improved alleys and streets, however you wanna.
give me a definition and I'll work from there.
sure, absolutely. Alright, any other old business?
Do we have any large trash dates from Republic?
Yeah, somebody asked me about that.
Not yet, they have
Can
not, they have
call
not, I can get a hold of,
Okay, cause it's getting late in the season.
yeah, it is.
Alright, I guess we'll move on to new business, and Mr. Booker, you have the floor.
Well, thank you for having me this evening. We have the county disaster plan, which we are required to update every 2 years under state law. And this year, we made a few changes, which are really just limited to how we coordinate with a lot of the police and fire agencies during a disaster response. And we have presented the plan to, still provides the same level of support and coordination to the town that it normally would within the county. And then at the same time, another component that we've done this year that was a little bit different is we sent out a survey electronically to a lot of our stakeholders to get feedback. And then that way, we can use that for our, we're going through accreditation. And so there's only one accreditation program for emergency management in the country, and that's through the National Emergency Management Association, which includes FEMA and others. And we're really fortunate that we are going to be the first program in the entire state once we become accredited. So the team will be on site in November, and then it will be next year sometime before we actually finally get the accreditation. But it's really making our plan stronger, and our process is more solid, where we're actually sending out the feedback, getting that from the surveys from folks, so we can document the changes that folks want to see within the plans itself. We've already presented it to the Board of Commissioners, and they adopted it earlier this month. And then the auditor has approved it, and we're going around to all the towns and the cities asking for their adoption of the plan, just as we do every 2 years. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you or John may have, so that we can, hopefully get your approval this evening, and we can get that documented and moved on.
Now, you guys contact all the municipalities and see what kind of equipment they have on hand that you could possibly use in case of an emergency or disaster. I used to work for Arcadia, and we used to get contacted and ask if we had bought any additional or updated any equipment or anything like that to add to the list, and I didn't know, if we had been contacted or had any of our equipment listed or not.
There was a state initiative several years ago where they were more in trying to get a better understanding of all the different resources that were within the county. And we don't do that per se with the non-emergency response equipment.
Okay.
So we do look a lot in the 911 system. It lists all the different equipment. So
that's who we need to,
That's who.
We have a jetpack now.
yeah, we've got it.
okay, and we can list that. We do have in Web EOC, which is our crisis information management system, so like all the disaster stuff, we can list the jet vac in there to know that it's a resource. And I think the big thing too is obviously working with the fire department. So if you did have a company working on the sewer project, and all of a sudden you have a collapse rescue in place, then as Murray well knows, those are the things that are really needed pretty quickly. And that would be good to know. But then at the same time, something like that, Andy would probably already know of it happening. But it's good to let other departments know that you have that type of resource.
Well, I know when we had the collapse in Noblesville, and that's in Noblesville, we were scrimping and frantically trying to find back trucks.
And we had
And that's so the point is, it could be useful, I think, within a reasonable limit for the whole area. I mean, if somebody's buried in a hole, then we have the
Our
ability
truck
to
has
help.
some unique features that make it excellent for trench rescue.
Okay, well I can get with Andy and make sure that we just have that
information to
noted.
dispatch, and you all have it on record.
And I would think, too, just, sharing that with like Cicero and Jackson and White River townships
Absolutely.
would really help, just so that everybody has that in the back of their mind. I think that's one of the challenges in some of those instances, is when you've got something like that happening or a bigger incident, it's like, oh my gosh, where do we get it? And we do have a list for some of those things.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of our key things that we provide is the information coordination, the resource support, and then the help with the consequence management of basically trying to, if it's bad, we don't want it to get worse. What can we do to try and keep it from getting worse?
Yeah, and that was the reason I was asking. We got that new vac truck, and we had a trench collapse down in Arcadia, and they were trying to get a vac truck, and they were calling everybody, and it was a long response time. And I thought, something like that happens close by. We've got our truck just miles away, and we, could be there, short response time. So,
I'll definitely
make that out, put that out there for so everybody knows it's available if need be.
Sure. Any questions?
I've got a few questions just on like the Public Works ESF3.
Yes.
There's some duties that are put upon Andy or his replacement at that time that comes upon if something were to happen. Does the town have to have any policies in place that are mentioned in here when this is executed? Are there any duties to put together plans?
Not on Andy, it's on the lead, which is the surveyor's office. So that, the surveyor's office is the one that's tasked with providing that level of coordination.
Okay.
If there are additional plans or SOPs that they wanna write.
Okay.
One of the things that we're really trying to push for in the first quarter of next year is getting what we call the emergency support function. So we divide them up into 15 groups. And like, for example, Public Works is, we consider that emergency support function 3. We follow FEMA's procedure and just trying to do functional grouping. So like transportation, communication, health department, fire department, those sorts of things. But we haven't seen a lot of, we used to do it more often and we need to do it more often of getting the folks together to talk about things like back trucks or how can we work together to support. And it's really that if something happened and we had, major flooding and there was critical infrastructure damaged, then Andy's got someone that he can call upon in the emergency operations center to say, I need help with these things. And so it's really not, that's why it's for the lead and not, and why Kent Ward, the surveyor, he's required to sign off on the plan since he's one of the leads.
Okay. So we don't have, so the town of Atlanta does not have to put together SOPs, anything like
No.
that to coordinate with this.
No, and that's part of, really at the heart of the plan is you're tasking us to do that coordination element for you. So if something bad really happened, then we would come and help provide that coordination response while we're working with the sheriff's department and the fire department. So we're really not in charge of anything, we're just here to provide support and coordination and, that resource support.
This is probably a silly question, but suppose that a circumstance where that did happen and they called upon our vac truck for assistance. Is the insurance on that truck covered through to whom we go to, or is it ours?
Our insurance.
Regardless where it goes, right?
Regardless where it goes. We
Okay,
drive it
that's
anywhere
what
in
I didn't know for sure. So
And that's one thing that if you wanted to look at any, a lot of times when we're doing emergency response of just helping within the county, we don't really look at reimbursement.
Right.
But if we were gonna go to Kokomo, emergency management, we were gonna take light towers in our command truck. One, we would only do that as long as we're okay here in the county. And if we were okay, then we would make sure that we establish that up front with Kokomo to say, okay, you want us to come help, but are you willing to pay for reimbursement?
And there's actually, on a large incident, there would actually be somebody where that is their job during the incident, is to keep track of resource expenditures, who we borrowed or procured what from, and what the dollar amount of that is. But that's only probably for really big issue incidents, or like you just said, out of the area.
One of the things that we've done
It
is
is definitely considered though in incidents.
there's 5 kind of key positions in any kind of incident that's big like that. And one of them is the finance admin section chief. And Pam Eldridge in our office, we've kind of restructured our office to fall in line with those different positions. And Pam has recently completed the finance admin section class that's through FEMA. She did that down in Tennessee. So now what they recommended is you use that for special events and other things. So like the 4-H fair, she kept track of all the cost, how much fuel we used, how many hours the equipment ran, and those sorts of things, and put together what that would be using the FEMA equipment rates. So we're making sure that we're applying it. Yeah. Yes, because if you don't use it, then you're just gonna lose it, and that's the key thing, is we've spent a lot of time and effort to send a lot of our folks to Tennessee to work with their state. They've got a lot of experience with wildland firefighting and that sort of thing, so it's been really good.
Well, I just got this sent to me today. Obviously, I haven't read through it all, but as far as I'm concerned with what you're saying now, it's your operating framework, right?
It is.
And how that might impact us, but it doesn't seem like it obligates us to much. I mean, I think you know, to the on a case by case basis, and as it makes sense, to the extent that we could be inserted into that and help, we'd be more than happy to. But for your purposes tonight, I don't know. I personally wouldn't have any problems agreeing to this at all.
I don't have any problems with it either, but offhand.
I wouldn't either. He has questions answered that he, looked through it and whatnot. And like I say, it's pretty much the same thing as we've been, in agreement to in previous years. So, the only changes, it sounds like, it's just to improve the contract or agreement there.
Well, does somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept it.
Motion to accept the emergency operations plan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. There is a signature page there, and this is the exact same one, but we're trying to get everyone to sign this one, so we don't have to scan
Let's do that.
the others. And I'm more than happy to, Jennifer, if you want to take a copy of that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Is this ours?
It is.
All right, thanks.
That's just some light reading there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other new business from the council tonight?
I don't know if it's new business or old business, but I want to debate the council very